Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
G'day ladies and gents, and welcome to Mech Warrior Online. So this is a game that I was planning on showing on the channel last year, and I never really got around to it. And that's because, well, it's a game that I play in bursts. I might play 2, 3, 4 weeks of Mech Warrior Online, get really into it, and then all of a sudden I'll go, nope, I've had enough, and I won't come back and play the game for 3 to 4 months. It's just one of those kind of games. Thankfully the progression system on Mech Warrior Online doesn't punish you for that at all, so that's excellent. But before we go too far into Mech Warrior Online, as I'm getting my Timberwolf up into position to begin engaging in combat, a little bit of an update on the copyright claim situation. So, after I made the video yesterday, letting you guys know that I had a number of claims coming in, I think it was 27 at the time I made the video, I went off to try and start fixing the issues, and the claims kept coming in. I actually wound up with 39 claims total by the time I went to bed that night. I woke up this morning, and this is what I found in my inbox. At this moment, 38 of the 39 claims have been released. Only one is being held, and I expect it will be released soon enough. Interestingly, this wasn't the claimant dropping the claims against my channel. This was YouTube going through the claims and going, that's bullshit, and just hitting it with a hammer and doing it over and over again to each one of the claims that rolled through, which is fantastic. I know there's been some nightmare stories about copyright in regards to YouTube and what they do about it. In this case, it looks like they actually did the right thing and knocked it all on the head very quickly. So all the videos that were struck are now back to public access, they're now visible, they're now back up on the channel for you to watch. None of them have intros anymore, however. That has been removed from all of the videos, and you'll notice this one doesn't have an intro either. It's because I haven't come up with something yet. I'm going to have to build something entirely from scratch, and that's going to take me a little bit of time. So anyways, Mech Warrior Online. So this is my Timberwolf build, or this is one of them. This is my Timberwolf Prime. 2 clan ER medium lasers, 2 clan ER large lasers, and 2 clan SRM6 systems with Artemis guidance. In truth, this isn't an ideal build. This is just a bit of an all-rounder that I put together when I was much less experienced, when I first got access to the Timberwolf. Well, I say much less experienced. The reality is I'm not particularly good at Mech Warrior Online as it is. I'm passable, but I'm never top of the field. So, anyways, the basic idea behind this mech build is the ER large lasers to engage targets at long range, as you would expect, but the idea for this build is to get close. The large lasers give you the ability to open up from an extended range. Once you've got into medium to short range combat, you can begin engaging targets with the full power of all your weapons. Optimal range of engagement is about 450 meters on this particular setup, and this is more of a support mech than it is a frontline lead the charge combat mech. I don't get too many kills with this particular build. This particular build is very much do damage to the targets, try and hit multiple targets, assist in damage wherever it's needed, use the mobility of the Timberwolf to get it into position. If you need to, use the tankiness, the armor of the Timberwolf. The Timberwolf can actually absorb quite a hiding to absorb the damage that some of these mechs are throwing off, allowing mechs that have sacrificed armor or defensive capability for more firepower to stay alive longer. But I'm probably getting ahead of myself a little bit here. For those who haven't played Mech Warrior Online, Mech Warrior Online is the Battletech universe. Mechs themselves are basically nuclear-powered, all-terrain walking tanks armed with laser, extremely powerful projectile weapons, as well as missile weapon systems. And the universe is a futuristic sci-fi with faster-than-light travel, so you have multiple planets that you can be engaging on. There's 2 key factions, the Inner Sphere and the clans. The Inner Sphere are humans that, well, this gets really complicated in a hurry. The Inner Sphere are basically the caretakers of Earth and the original systems that were colonized when humanity expanded out of Earth. The clans are humans that left the Inner Sphere, disappeared for several hundred years and formed their own society, built their own advanced tech, and basically militarized themselves to really high levels. Extremely advanced military and mech technology, and then they came back into the Inner Sphere and invaded, trying to take it over. The mech I'm driving at the moment is actually a clan mech called the Timberwolf, also sometimes called the Clan mechs tend to have 2 names, their Inner Sphere name and their clan name. And there we go, basic Battletech lore described in under 2 minutes, which is actually kind of impressive because the lore is incredibly complicated, but it's definitely worth a read if you've never got into Battletech before. How does the lore apply to the standard battles inside of Mech Warrior Online? Well, it really doesn't. You get a random planet that the entire team will decide on at the start, that's your map. You get a random game mode, one of two, usually either Skirmish or Conquest, that is decided by the team at the start of the match, or decided by everybody involved in the battle on both teams at the start of the match. And then you go in with whatever mech you happen to have queued up in, and Innisphere and Clan are all mixed together. There is a faction warfare system in the game. I've never played it myself, mainly because the queue times to get into it are incredibly long. Very few people seem to be playing it in comparison to the standard battles, so once queue times start going beyond 10 minutes, I tend not to bother. Now, I moved to the edge of the cliff here. I was going to attempt something called Death from Above. The Timberwolf that I'm driving is equipped with jump jets. They're basically little rocket thrusters that allow for a limited range flight, usually no more than 20 or 30 meters up. It's enough to navigate harder terrain that the mech normally wouldn't be able to walk over. But if you use them controlled from a high spot, you can actually jump the mech off the side of a mountain and then land on top of another one. This will usually destroy the mech that you land on, as you would expect when a 75-ton walking tank falls on top of you. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a good angle. The mechs were too far away, the slope wasn't quite right for it, so instead I just walked down the side. I can't shoot from the top of the mountain, or at least not directly from the top. The range of motion on each of the mechs is limited and is unique to each and every mech in the game. The Timberwolf can't really get its guns down far enough, and I didn't really need to. This was the last guy left on the match, and he had pretty much given up. So at this point we just wait for a couple of moments and the results screen actually pops up in-game for you to check out all the details before you even exit the match. And there we go. So I walked away from this one with 154,447 C-bills. That's actually not bad considering that I'm not running any premium. 357 damage is not great. Generally you want to be in the 400s to be middle of the road. Damage up to 1,000 is sort of what you're after if you're going for a dedicated damage build. But 350 probably isn't bad for a mech that's built as an all-round support. And the one thing you'll notice in there is I didn't actually get any kills for that match, but I got 6 assists. Due to the nature of how Mech Warrior Online operates and how there are mechs that are just not built for combat, they're built for reconnaissance, they're built to find, locate enemy forces, they're built to mark targets, to make it easier for combat mechs to engage them. There are mechs that are equipped with plasma flamethrowers. Its sole duty isn't actually to kill enemy mechs, but to overheat them and cause their systems to shut down so that it's much easier for the combat mechs on your team to just take them out, as they can't do anything when they're shut down. As a result of this, kills are not how points or credits are earned in Mech Warrior Online. In Mech Warrior Online, all your points, your score, your credits are based on either how much damage you did in the battle or how effective you were for your team. Everything you do is recorded and everything you do has a points value. If you do nothing in the battle, you'll get nothing, but if you were of use to your team, you will be compensated for your work. So anyways, second match for the day, and this will be the last one I show. This is my Timberwolf S build. Now this one's a little bit different. This one is very much a medium to close range combatant, and this one is designed to actually start pumping out a little bit of damage. And this is the first time actually taking this Timberwolf out for a spin. This build I actually put together right before this match. It's based on a mech build that I found online. I haven't started tweaking it to my own personal specifications yet, but it looks pretty good so far. I'm not entirely sure what I would modify on it. The loadout is 3 ER or extended range clan medium lasers in the left torso, with the right torso and the right arm containing a clan Ultra AC-10. And a sneaky little scout mech just pops up here on the right hand side. Hit it with the medium lasers. I didn't give quite enough lead on the Ultra AC-10s, and he gets the hell out of the area as fast as possible. I don't follow him directly. I've had no chance to scout the other side of this ridge. I don't know if there's snipers there or not. He could be baiting me into an ambush, so I stay on this side, go down the other end and see if I can get him at the other end of the canyon. Now, I didn't actually cover this earlier on. Your mech has arms, and it is entirely possible for you to control the arms independent of the torso. I actually have them locked on most of my mech builds, as I set the weapons groupings up in a particular way and I want them all to fire together. With this particular build, for example, you have one Ultra AC-10 in the torso. Now that will fire wherever your mech is pointing, or wherever the torso is pointing rather. The arm, however, can articulate and move around, but whenever I'm firing at a target, I want both of those AC-10s to hit the target at the same time, so I need to make sure they are always pointing in the same direction. On other mech builds that are primarily focused on arm-mounted weapons, I have the arms set so they can articulate. It allows you to shoot targets that are off-center, it allows you a lot of fine aim control, and most importantly of all, the arms tend to move more quickly than the torso can rotate. So having cleared out the right flank, it looks like the enemy has been boxed up in this small little canyon, so take the chance to start unloading some rounds in.
Critical.
The Ultra AC-10s are going to do an incredible amount of damage, but they build up heat very quickly, as I'm about to find out. And the mech overhits. Quickly engage the override. When your battle mech reaches maximum heat, it automatically shuts itself down to save its own systems. You have the option of overriding that shutdown and continuing to move with the heat. However, overriding the shutdown and continuing to fight can cause damage to your systems, if not the destruction of your own mech. And this guy's screwed. And down he goes. Now the mech that escaped out of the canyon before looks like it's been taken out. There are two snipers on the far side of this valley and they're taking shots at me and everybody else that they can get their guns on. So we need to deal with those. So instead of going over and trying to shoot up the side of the mountain, I'm going to take this thing down to this section of the valley out into this canyon and make a hard left and see if I can get up on the valley wall. I'm probably not explaining everything that's going on in this battle as well as I normally would, but this video is more for fun and to give people who maybe haven't looked at Mech Warrior Online a chance to have a look at it and see how it's played. So we have a pathway on the south side that leads up into the area that the enemy mechs are at. And I completely missed my opening salvo. Scout mechs have managed to clear the wall as well, so I've got a couple of mechs up here as extra support, and there we go. Start laying some shots in. Oh, he powers himself back up, he's been overheating, put some more rounds in. There we go, he's down. And we clean up the rest over here. Just drill them with the ultra auto cannons. And that is the entire enemy team wiped out. So once again, end of the match. We just wait for the scorecard to pop up, we can have a look at how we did, and then I think I'll call this video to an end. So we've got 419 damage this time. It's still a little to the low side, I think I can do better than that. And 149,609 C-bills, 2 killing blows and 4 assists, 3,180 experience points. So yeah, that wasn't a bad match. I think next time I'll have to work a bit harder on the damage. Anyways, click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll catch you all at the next drop.